The Three Skulls of Humanity. As with any night, the pub was packed with its natural band of diverse regulars. The scanvar table cheered loudly every few minutes as another round of their triple-pack card game rounded off, jeering the loser into buying the players at the table another round of shots of squea. The Dengbi sat quietly in their own corner as they opened their minds to one another, as they created new stories, poems, and songs that their species were famous for. The Ikli drinking at the bar as drinkers would. The blind mining species Jasiks clicking their tongues to find their way to the bar for another round of drinks for their Ipsy business partners. As the heavy door opened, the regulars lazily shifted their collective gaze mid-conversation to see if the latest drinker was a friend. It wasn't. It was a human. The pub became deathly silent as they all stared at the human. Was he one of the monsters that so many of their murdered brethren had died at the hands of? The human slowly moved his arm upward as he showed the black and white patch on his arm, showing his skull. The usual humdrum of the pub resumed as they accepted him into their local. The human turned and opened the door to let two more humans in who had stayed outside in case the regulars did not want to take kindly to a human in their midst. As the humans took refuge in the last quiet corner of the pub, a curious Ikli turned to his mentor and whispered, "Master," he frowned. "That was a human. Why did no one kill him?" "Because he wore a skull," came the reply. "So? They are monsters." "Not all of them," the wise elder told his apprentice. "The disease they fell to was one that every species has fallen to. However, their reaction to it was different." "Their monsters came from a disease?" "Yes, the same disease that hit every species. Thing is, there was no way of fighting it until some of your own had caught it. This virus, or whatever it was, managed to hide away in a new patient zero and fester until it could be transferred every which way to more hosts. And then it spread like firewood through dry wood covered in fuel. The Dengbi lost nearly 100 million. The Jasaics got lucky and only lost a few million, as horrible as that is to say. The Ipsy lost so many they had to recall every colony to go home to focus on breeding for nearly a decade. Us Ikli lost nearly 20 million. One of my mentor's great mentors lost his whole family, but he was given the antidote just in time." "So what happened with the humans?" "Over half of their population died. You cannot comprehend those numbers, youngling. 60+% of the near trillion or so they had spread around the galaxy just disappeared. But what of the stories of their monsters who killed so many? Around a quarter of their whole species went mad with the disease. The virus somehow changed their brain chemistry into one of rage and hunger. The infected, as they became known, would sprint through city streets and bite, claw, punch, maim any species they came in contact with, hence the stories of human monsters you clearly know so well. These infected killings caused humans to be outlawed quickly by all federations and republics alike, but actual policing was hard because of the infected's ability to still be able to use starships like any the rest of us would. They could spread to another arm of the galaxy within days, and there was very little anyone could really do about it. And that is why people laughed at Senator Bullock's initiative of a galactic army or police force. The galaxy is too big, too spacious to be readily policed at every corner of a system. However, what you clearly know nothing of is the remainder of the human species. Barely 15% survived somewhat unscathed. Some of them were one way or another naturally immune, and their scientists created their antidote for their species in record time, but it was already too late. The infected had already gone mad, but the 15% would not let their species have a tarnished name forever. They took up skulls. Skulls? Yes, the three skulls of humanity are the three factions the non-infected fell into. The pirates, going under the skull of some legend of theirs called Jolly Roger. They take the most dangerous and illicit smuggling jobs, taking anything they can anywhere they are asked for a price. They also steal whatever cargo from any trader who can afford to lose it without it breaking their business. This gives them a means of paying for everything the other two skulls achieve. The Mandalorians wear the skull of the Mandalore, again a legend from their library of literature, I believe. They serve as bounty hunters, security guards, and for a price, assassins, but only against a target that deserves to die. The money they get also goes to whatever the skulls need to finish their mission. Finally, the skull on those men there, the skull of the Punisher, they hunt their own. The infected monsters that ravaged anyone and everyone through the galaxy are hunted by those brave men. They are given no official jurisdiction for what they do and are constantly arrested for various charges like gun violations, trespassing, and occasionally they are arrested, along with the other Skull members, for murder charges that should be levied against the infected who had actually committed the crime. You claim that humanity are merely monsters, but they have the decency to clean up their own mess alone. They wish to restore themselves and everyone else to what they were before the infected killings, but not many believe they can survive. All three skulls may very well die out, but as long as every infected human dies with them, humanity will greet extinction with well-earned pride and a smile.